Rocket Dad. Learn how to build rockets, from little first-time rockets to big rockets. Watch and learn every step of the way. Rocket Dad, where we encourage parents to spend time with their kids building rockets.
Hi, I'm Ryan Southworth with Rocket Dad, where we encourage dads to spend time with their kids building rockets. In this video, we're building the Blackfly 54mm from Mac Performance. We're super excited for this rocket kit. Why are we excited about this, Ben?
Because we're going to put an i200 in it, and so it's a pretty big engine.
It's the biggest engine I know of to put in a 29mm, and this thing's going to go high. So because it's going to high, we've had to kind of modify a couple things, and we'll talk about that in a second. Why don't you run us through what came in the kit?
Alright, so this is the cone, and these are the
bulkheads.
Bulkheads, oh my gosh. And then we have the eBay, and we have 5 fins. Yep, 5 fins. And then here's the motor mount tube. And this is the centering ring. This is the back centering ring?
This is the forward centering ring, and this is the rear centering ring. And you'll notice the back end is beveled, so it's going to sit on the back like that and not fall out because we'll have it epoxied in, but it will sit like that. And so it has a really cool tail cone on there. Excited for that. Now, one of the things we are doing on this kit is we are doing the dual deployment. So we got the electronics bay and our bulkheads to do that dual deployment, which is a forward end or a head end delivery, which the parachute will be in the cone for the main chute. What we got extra on the kit, which we wanted to explain, was we have an engine retainer from Aerotech that will fit on the very back of this. We got 3 charging caps for using an altimeter from MissileWorks that have 3 charges. And then, so we got the caps for those. We got extra shock cord, the 1/8 inch shock cord. And the epoxy we're doing for this is Proline 5400. So this will be our first time using this epoxy, so that'll be fun. We did get from a friend a 3D printed, or not 3D printed, a wood cut fin jig. So this will align all of our fins. And then we did buy an extra, as we're analyzing this and what we're going to do, we felt that this was too small for what we wanted. We wanted a bigger electronics bay because we are putting in an altimeter and we're putting a GPS chip in there. Yep. So to fit all that in there, I needed 7 7¼ inches, plus a tiny bit more for the bulkheads to fit in, but 7¼ inches and a pretty wide switch band so that this doesn't take up too much space in our rocket. So that's what we have. I also have a scale here to measure out our epoxy, because the epoxy has to be mixed 100 to 16 parts. And then we always have a good little bit of sandpaper before we glue something on. We'll go ahead and sand it. You ready to get started?
Oh yeah.
Let's go. First thing to do, we need to glue in or epoxy in our forward centering ring. Always do a good dry fit. Make sure that looks good. We're putting it like pretty all the way to the front there. So we're gonna take a pencil. I want you to just outline where that is on both sides so we know this is going to epoxy. You can just go quick. Doesn't have to be perfect. And on the inside. Perfect. All right. We're going to slide that back, and you can see it looks great right there. Keeping this back so that when we put the epoxy on and slide this up into place, it's going to create a fillet on this side. So we're going to keep the shock cord kind of clear. One thing I thought was super cool, my first time seeing this, is you can see that how this is connected here. Shock cord, sometimes you have to do some crazy things with epoxy on making a Y harness or other things, but Mac Performance has this little metal piece right there that's inlaid into their centering ring, and it's a great attachment, great stitching, heat shrink on that. So that's going to be what we're going to attach to. So I'm really excited for this. This made this kit quite a bit easier, if you will, in being able to attach that. So excited for that. So when you're gluing this on, making sure that that's to the bottom, because we're going to be pulling this way once we get in there. So I'm going to slide that back just a little bit more, keeping it out of her way. And now we're time to mix up some epoxy. All right, let's grab this. I've heard this epoxy is a bit sticky, so most people wear gloves for that. We're just going to wing it.
Yeah.
Let's grab one more of these because I bet we're going to get extra sticky here. Open this guy. This is the resin. Looks like black tar.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like molasses.
Does look like molasses. And then our hardener. It's kind of, no, don't smell that. Do not smell epoxy or any glues. Not cool.
Okay.
And then here's the hardener for that. So we're doing 100 parts. We got to figure out how much we're going to do. Forgot where my little cups went. Got a little cup and our where we're going to measure, or our scale. So we'll zero that out. So we got to get enough of this, and you're only adding a tiny bit of this. Where other epoxies, it's 1:1. So this is really as much as we're gonna do. We just need to make a little loop around there, so it's not that much. So we'll go ahead and zero this out. Ooh, yeah, that's fine. I was gonna say we needed to sand that. I think we're fine in not sanding that. Or should we sand that? Let's just sand that real quick.
Okay.
Let's be safe here. Why don't you just kind of just roughen that up? So you're just kind of keeping it firm there, and then just kind of twisting it like that.
Okay.
And do that. I'll put the lid back on so you don't get any dust in there.
All right.
Go ahead.
That good?
That was great. No, it was good. It was good. I'll make sure that dust gets off. All right, that looks good right there. We can still see our lines, and so we'll get this epoxy mixed up and then get that on there. All right, ready?
Yep.
Get that there. And let's see how much we want to put in there. Oh, it does look like tar. So we're just going to put a little bit in there. We'll probably do a little more than we need because there'll be quite a bit on the sides. Make sure my scale doesn't get offset. So now we got to use our calculator. Make sure I don't lose my... Goodness. Pretty sticky stuff. So we're going to leave that here. Let's get our lid on. Trying to not make a mess.
Yep.
All right, next up will be our hardener. Okay, so we'll just set the lid on right there. So use our trusty calculator here. I even got a little notepad to write this down. So right here we've got 2.32 grams. So if we take that, we do 2.32, right? 2.32 times 16 divided by 100 equals, we need 0.37. So we need 0.371 added onto this. So 0.371, we're adding to that 2.32. So plus 2.32 equals, we should have a total weight of 2.691. So we'll do our best to get to 2.69. Whoa! Whew! I almost spilled that, and I probably would have cried. I cried a little bit. That's okay. Grown men can cry. All right. So I don't know how much that's going to be. I don't even know the best way to do this. So let's just go like this. What do we have to get to
2.691.
Okay, we're at 2.5. Because once it goes in, it can't come back out. 2.5, 2.64. Come on, a little drip. Okay, 2.7. That's perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
really getting it down to 2.69. So that's going to be really good. All right, so let's take this. We're going to use that to mix that up. Let's get our lid on here and I not accidentally spill it again. Don't want to do that. All right, let's get these guys out of the way. And now let's mix this up. That's not too bad. Why don't you go ahead and mix that up? Make sure you're kind of cleaning it off. So this epoxy, I've been told it's the viscosity. Try to say that word. Viscosity. It's pretty wet, so it will self-level, they say. So when you kind of put some epoxy down, it'll kind of smooth out any kind of little ridges that are in there. Let's get this guy out of the way. And then how's our mixing going?
Good.
All right, let me check her out.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. Looks great. All right, we definitely made way too much, but that's okay. It's the first time making this. Just wanted to see what it was like, and we're only using a really small amount. So now we're going to take this and we're going to put it around here carefully. And when we put this into place, we got to remember we want to twist it into place because it'll just really kind of get into a lot of the cracks pretty good. All right, why don't you keep going on that? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
And when we slide this up into place, this is going to create a fillet on top. So then we'll just orient it upright and it should just settle into that, making a nice fillet for us. We're just being really careful. A lot of people wear gloves on this. Stay more this side. Yep, you're good. A lot of people wear gloves on this one, but we're just doing a little bit, so I think we're getting away without having to use that. That's good. Leave that up there. It'll create a great fillet. The motor mount takes a lot of force, a lot of G's when we're putting that I-200 in there. How are we looking? Looking good?
Not perfect, but nobody's gonna see.
Nobody's going to see inside here. Let's just add a little bit, just kind of,
to be safe.
yeah. Just want to have a real good fillet on top. And it's the first time using this kind, so we'll see how it goes. All right, we'll call that good there. We'll just set this guy. Now we're going to slide this into place. I was practicing sliding this in and out, and it pulls off pretty easy. So we're going to just kind of walk it in there.
Can I like move it in there, or are you gonna do that?
You can walk it in there, but just walk it in there nice and easy.
All right. Oh, it is kind of soft.
But don't pull too hard because it's going to pull all the way out. Getting up real close, keeping the shock cord out of the way. Getting up close to it. Keep going, looking good. Just like that. Yep, cute. And let's give it a little twist. Kind of twist it this way just a little bit, so that kind of just smears that stuff in there. We're gonna pull it up just a little bit more. You want to keep this kind of pulled down just gently, and we're gonna work it out just a little bit more. And that's looking real good right there. That looks great. Pretty happy with that. How's that look to you?
Oh, it's a nice fillet.
Heck yeah. You could take your finger and smear that around in there. I don't think we need to do that. That looks really good how it is now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let this guy sit just like this. So gravity is going to do its process where it's just going to pull it down and it's just going to sit right in there. So we're going to let that dry. Once that dried, we're going to come back and we're going to put that into our body tube, slide it in, and then we'll have that in place. Then we'll start working on fins.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll be back.